Hey guys, and welcome to Smells Like Teen Angst. We are back with another after show review talk back of Pretty Little Liars Original Sin, episode 5. That's 10. 5. And as always, I am here with my friends, Keiki and Jordan. Jordan, Keiki, say hello.
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 Pretty Little Liars Original Sin episode 5 is a Halloween episode, you guys. I am stoked.
This was like my favorite episode so far.
Me too. It was so good.
I had a lot of fun, and they dropped a lot of old school Pretty Little Liars hints in here for me. So, I'm rolling with it. Let's go.
I just love a good holiday episode, especially Halloween ones. So here we are.
Exactly. So this episode starts with a Halloween party in 1999. We see all of the young moms with Angela. And they're like teasing her. They're like, oh, you got to throw this bag of dog shit, which is very Billy Madison of them, against this door. And then the house looks like Freddy Krueger's house. And they're like, and you're going to wear this pumpkin mask. And it's just like this, like layers of awful.
Right.
So she's trying to fit in. She's trying to make friends. And so she does it and they leave her.
They drive away. What a horrific hazing ritual.
I'm like,
first of all, here's the thing, and I'm not trying to victim blame, but Angela should have known that it was coming because the 5 of them were all dressed as the Spice Girls, and then she didn't have a costume. So she should have known that they weren't down for her because they costumed without her.
Exactly. Girl. If you weren't in on the secret, you shouldn't have been involved in this. But I get it, because if any of us have had like the bullying experience in school, there's always that pack of girls that you're like, I don't trust them, but they're still kind of nice sometimes.
Right? Maybe I am a friend of theirs.
Yeah, maybe I am. Like, I'm the one who's in the way of this friendship. And then they do you dirty.
Like leaving you after you throw a bag of dog shit on a door that looks like Freddy's house. I just was like, man, girls are mean. Girls are mean. High school girls are mean. Then we flash forward to present day, and Noah is just now like resharing what happened to her. She's like, he chased me and this. And I was like, that was kind of odd. So Imogen is sharing like things that she found in the house, and everyone's like, now that I know what I'm looking for, everyone come help me search the house for what I could possibly be looking for. And that's when we see the pages that were missing. Faran finds them burnt in the fireplace.
Faran finds some bread. There are multiple things that I have about this scene, because when it happens, Tabitha's down in the basement and she's kind of creeped out. She gives herself this whole like pep talk about going down in the basement. And
I'm a final girl. I'm like Tabitha and all of us.
I love that. But you see her see this big chest in the basement, and the camera looks at it and she looks at it, and then Faran screams and is like, come up to the living room right now. And I was that moment where I was like, bitch, tell them about that chest. That's got to be important, But then we get upstairs. We get upstairs and Faran has found burnt pages of the journal in the fireplace. And this is why, going back to what we talked about in last week's after show, the frogging theory has some credence. Because when I saw it, I was like, is this a plot hole? Because I don't remember Imogen's mom setting a fire, right?
Right.
Before she unalived. So if she didn't burn the pages and leave them in the fireplace, who did?
I mean, I think it could absolutely be who burnt them. And then I would buy that the mom did it when she unalived herself. And they just didn't like show a fire. I don't need to see a fire to think that the mom did that. So I'm okay with it either way.
Yeah, but the mom did that. Why wouldn't she burn the flyer that A sent her? That's where my brain went. So it's like, if she really didn't want people to think of Angela Waters and she got that flyer, so she ripped it out of her journal and burnt it, like she would burn the flyer too. So that's what makes me think that it's A.
Yeah.
A is like, y'all ain't gonna figure it out. You're just gonna ride the wave.
Yeah. Well, There you go. So let's talk about Faran and her Kelly Karen theory. Turns out her little dancer boyfriend did the little foot rub for her, and she does have a scar on her foot like she would if the razor blades cut her. So Faran goes and tells the dance teacher, which I don't know why she would do that. And then like the dance teacher like drops this bomb that, oh, well, Kelly is a cutter and like she self-harms. And I was like,
that's the thing though. Like that's not Kelly being a self-harmer tracks for me. The teacher disclosing that tracks for me. But Faran telling the teacher about her crazy twin swap theory, that's the part where I'm like, this doesn't track, because Faran, her mom works in a big city. Like Faran is like the posh one of the group. Like she knows what she has to risk.
Exactly.
So she wouldn't just go around talking about this unprecedented.
And Farron's already lost this role once.
Yeah.
You know, she knows the teacher is not her friend or on her good side or really enjoys her or likes her or thinks of her as a prima ballerina. I mean, she was like, from the jump, Alvin Ailey is like the only place you could be, you know? Like that's pretty cold-blooded to a dancer, especially like a black ballet dancer. But yeah, that does not track. Why go to her? Why go to this madame who's just going to drag you anyway?
Right. I don't know. I thought that was, and like, I'm like, I feel like
it feels out of character.
Yeah. So I didn't like that. Noah does basically nothing this episode. She's the mouse of last week's episode. She's the mouse of this episode. And then I actually get more mouse this episode, which is what I wanted from last episode. However, I'm a little confused about her interesting storyline. So like, I'm like, is Mouse working for her to catch a predator? Like, is Chris Harrison going to pop out?
At first I was getting like Hard Candy vibes, if y'all remember that movie with Elliot Page.
I was getting Hard Candy vibes too, especially with her red cape. It was also like a little nod to the red coat of season like 3 and 4 of Pretty Little Liars. So I was just like, are we trying to like take down someone? Is this a catch a predator thing?
We find out that Mouse has been talking to some creepy old man on the internet, is going to meet up with him on Halloween. He buys her like a bunch of Halloween costumes. She makes a deal that she'll have dinner with this creepy man, but then she's going to go to the party with Ash. And none of it makes sense. What the fuck, Mouse?
I don't get it. Like, there's a whole montage of her trying on all the costumes he purchased for her. They're sitting at dinner. He asks for her report card. I'm just like,
right? They're having this creepy, like, role play situation, and it gets weirder because none of it seems sexual. So now I'm very confused as to what is happening.
And when she's talking to him, she's showing like a missing girl paper. So I'm like, did he murder this girl? Did she figure that out? And then I'm kind of feeling that this is just a grieving father. And for some reason, Mouse is taking it upon herself to do something about it. And it's just odd. And I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we get the clue in at the end, though, that that's not the case.
Well, I mean, a little bit.
I didn't understand that clue. Can we do that after we talk about the party?
I mean, I think we could do that now. Should we do that now? Because it's like, it's still her story. It's nothing about the
well,
do shit.
When Daddy, she's on her way to the party, the driver, our guy in question, drops, you can call me Dad. And she does, you know? So I'm like, oh, is this Mouse's like biological father? Is that the situation? Is she someone who just wanted more information about him or is no longer allowed to have a relationship with him?
The role-play thing doesn't make sense, though. Like, I don't get what's happening. Because we do get to the end and she has a box of, like, photos of her and him, right?
Exactly. So that's her dad that she's not allowed to see.
Right. But then what is that?
But he was calling her a different name. None of this makes any sense.
He called her Rachel. Yes, he did call her Rachel. But I'm thinking, you know, maybe it could have been a case where her mother took her, left her father, and changed their names or everything. I mean, Mouse can't be her real name, you know?
No, it's not. It's a nickname.
No, it's a nickname.
It's a nickname for Minnie, which Minnie it could be a real name, but I don't understand how them role playing the situation because it's like, oh, you're supposed to be allergic to peanut butter and takes the Reese's out of her trick or treat thing. And I don't get how the two things combine, and we're not supposed to yet, but I'm so incredibly confused.
And then the whole argument with her mom at the end, who's waiting up for her because she goes to the party. Imogen's throwing a party. We forgot to mention that so far, and that's kind of all Imogen does too. She's throwing a party to try and save the house and raise money. So after the party, she comes home. She was supposed to come home at 10:30 at night, and she comes home the next morning, and they're like having this conversation that sounds like she was kidnapped.
Well, and that's the vibe that I got in the previous episodes when they were taking her technology and saying, like, be careful because there are crazy people on the internet and blah, blah, blah. My assumption of Mouse's backstory is that she had been talking to some creepy man on the internet, had gotten kidnapped, and then was able to come back home at one point. And so her mothers are very protective because of that. And I think that's the assumption that they want us all to have, right? Like, that's what it seems like the context clues are pointing us to.
Yeah.
But then the thing with the guy in the box of photos, I'm so confused.
Yeah, it just wasn't clear for me either. I like your idea, Keiki, that it's actually her bio dad, because nothing else makes sense. And the rest of it still doesn't make sense.
Yeah, then role playing doesn't make sense. I have hope that it will make sense, but at the same time.
And then I didn't look at the name of the missing girl on the flyer. Was her name Rachel?
Yes. If I remember correctly, the girl on the flyer name was Rachel.
Not a young version of Mouse, or is it?
No.
Right. I'm like, are we trying to say her mother's kidnapped her and this man's trying to say, like, it's just the whole thing is confusing.
Again, I feel like we're getting led away from the A problem. So I'm not going to believe every little hint they're dropping on us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think they just want us to live in this fear because there's like the biggest issue with Pretty Little Liars, like post Pretty Little Liars, was always like, how the hell did they get away with this Ezra Arya relationship situation? It was so creepy. It was so wrong. Like, they should have never been together. Mm-hmm. And there came a point where it just should have ended, and it just kept going, which was gross.
Yeah.
And I feel like they keep teasing us with situations that might like be like this, and it's to kind of like make light of the situation maybe and keep all of our heads in that place.
From what I know of Pretty Little Liars, I do think, and it's funny because the show is called Original Sin, I think that this show is trying to pay for the sins of the original series and undo some of the criticisms of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this like hard candy adopted father story is not a great way to do that. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening.
Not either. And then the only other thing pre-party is Tabitha, because she's pissed at Chip.
Chip finishes shooting the scene, and Tabitha's pissed. Yeah, Chip finishes shooting the movie, and Tabitha's pissed because it disrespected her artistic vision and the whole reason that they were doing it. Pardon me, to subvert the horror genre.
Right. And so he says it's fine. We'll reshoot it. He apologizes. I appreciate it. And like, I get where he's coming from. I get why he did that last week, where he was like, I was just trying to do something nice because I knew that you were having a hard time. So I don't think it was malicious.
No.
And then, you have Tabitha going to get her final paycheck from Wes, the creepy, is that name Wes? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, his name was Wes.
The creepy manager. And I like that she called him out.
Yeah.
She was like,
exactly.
You want me to work here, but you're really inappropriate. And she calls out the whole thing, like how, she basically forced her to come over to get the thumb drive. And she's like, that was really creepy, bro. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. And I'm just
you drove me home and you stopped at the car and that was creepy. And he's like, I'll make it up to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't love that she's going back there personally.
I don't like that she's going back there, but I do like that she acknowledged it, because the way it played in previous episodes, there was part of you that almost felt like, does she like this attention, or is she here for this?
Yeah.
Like, is she the next Arya? But no, she's creeped out about it. Like,
now you're saying that her being okay with this is more than likely a fawn response, which is a very valid trauma response, where you're like, I am in an uncomfortable situation and I'm just going to keep going with it.
Mm-hmm. But again, just like My Favorite Murder says, politeness gets you killed.
Yep. Fuck politeness.
Fuck politeness. Be rude. Be rude, bitch.
Rude.
She goes back to her job at the I want to say pizza place. It's not a pizza place. It's the movie theater.
Movie theater.
She goes back to the movie theater. You see Tyler again, who we haven't come back. And my God, they laid it on real thick this episode about what an a-hole Tyler was. Because from the second he comes on screen, you just hate his guts all over again.
All over again.
I went from like forgetting he was a character to being like, I can't fucking stand this guy.
Yeah. He's like, for anyone who doesn't remember, he's the guy who filmed Karen. And then, and lots of other atrocious things.
Yeah. But he's like ultimate douche bro in this whole episode. And they're really letting us know that like Tyler deserves whatever's coming to him because he's a real piece of shit.
Right.
Facts.
The foreshadowing was heavy.
So speaking of what's coming to him, let's talk about this party that Imogen is throwing to raise money to try and save her house because she's going to do that with a house party. I do love that she's dressed like Rosemary's Baby. I thought
it was hysterical.
Was amazing.
The Halloween costumes were A+ this episode.
Yeah, so cute. I loved them. You got like Morticia and Gomez, and then when Mouse shows up, she's like that character from Casper, like the little witch, which is cute.
Yeah,
which is like, I love it. I love that you put a nod to the Haidu movie of like the 90s. And I was like, yes. Faran is Poison Ivy. I think they did a really good job. It's really, really
Tabitha is a character is Ripley from Alien. Like it was all very cute, very on brand with their characters. Loved every second of it.
Yeah. And Tabitha is still trying to put together the bonfire. So she then questions Tyler again outside of work, and he's so dismissive.
Tyler and Greg both show up to this fucking party dressed as Smurfs. All the football team shows up dressed as Smurfs. They all look like idiots. They're all being so loud and so obnoxious, and they're just harassing everyone. And Faran has had this crazy moment because she sees Kelly, who's dressed as a creepy doll, making out with Greg, her dead sister's ex-boyfriend. And so Faran has had enough and confronts her and is like, I know what's going on here. And they yell at each other and there's no resolution. So we still don't know if it's a twin swap.
No.
We don't know.
No.
We don't
also,
know.
that like the look that Kelly gets on her face every time it's mentioned, it's unapologetic. Like my secret,
Yeah.
Like, why can't I be? Well, yeah. I'm just me, like it's very much like, who gives a fuck if I'm Karen? Like, let Kelly be great.
And which is a very Karen thing to do. Who gives a fuck if I swap twins?
And I really hope that they didn't tell the actress the answer. So that way she can just like play it however she wanted to. And I think that would be awesome. We also get, so A breaks in the basement because, that's their home. And we see them open the trunk from the last step. And like we see like the mystery wall in the trunk and then the pumpkin mask from the flashback.
The trunk is full of Angela Waters clues, y'all.
I'm like, someone
looked at it.
I need someone on TikTok and tag me in it to freeze frame it and do like a whole dissection video because I
need the thing like Charlie on where
it's always sunny.
Yeah, I need that.
Oh,
I need somebody to make that TikTok, please and thank you.
Exactly. And I love like with that conversation of the confrontation, like you see through A's POV. I thought that was very fun. And then, Imogen catches them trying to use a bathroom upstairs and she doesn't even know who she's confronting. And I think she's
just like, get the fuck out of the upstairs. You weren't invited. Go back downstairs with everybody else, you bitch.
Exactly. Can you not read? It's off limits. Get out of here.
And I think that moment shows and the one with Noah. Well, I mean, I don't know what they were going to try and do with Noah, that they're not coming for Imogen, at least, they let her go. It wasn't like Mike Myers would ever let anyone go like that, So
and
I thought
unless they already came for Imogen.
Let's talk about this.
We don't know who Rosemary's Baby is.
A has a longer plan. Like A has some kind of weird longer plan because A did not come for any of the girls at the party. They were all there. They were all moments where they were alone or isolated and A could have gotten to them. So A is playing a long game. They have a plan and they're sticking to it.
And
I think that A is going to construct this in some way to where at the end of the day, fingers are pointed at all of their backs. and they have no choice but to be collectively in trouble for this.
Yep.
They're all going to become individual murderers when they're victims, you know?
I love it. Yes, Keiki. Yeah. I loved the moment where Tabitha is confronting both Tyler and Greg for being so disgusting and douchey, and then she socks him in the face.
Breaks his nose. One punch breaks his nose.
I was like, yes, girl. You know, because they're like, oh, sis, stop being such a feminazi. I'm like, you calm down. Like,
but I loved how all the girls had each other's backs, because it wasn't just Tabitha doesn't do it out of nowhere. One of them is harassing. Racist. Oh, well, no, it starts with Tyler harassing Mouse, because Mouse and Ash get high upstairs. She comes back downstairs. She's super high, and Tyler just starts harassing her. And so Tabitha comes over to defend her, and then all the other girls come over as Tabitha's screaming, and then he gets really racist about it, and it's like, oh, you just like angry Black woman of the year. And at that moment, Faran is like, hey, fuck you mean, get out of her face. And then Tabitha just hauls off and punches the shit out of him,
which I absolutely love. And then we get such, like, I thought this scene was incredible, where, you know, he goes upstairs to fix his face, and A was like, no, bro, and chokes him out, murders him to the best cover of Monster Mash.
That's an amazing cover of Monster Mash. And also, I am not a very squeamish person. Y'all have watched horror movies with me. It's rare that I have to turn my head from the screen. But the sound design, the Monster Mash, I was like, this is and maybe it's because I was watching it with AirPods in. I was like, oh.
It was so good. And the cover is this dude on YouTube named Leo, and he does these amazing like metal screamo covers. And so I looked it up because I was like, I need to know who's doing this. And then when I saw it was him, I was so stoked.
And me like,
yeah, I will. I'll send it to you because it's so good. I'll link it in the thing below, and I'll also send it to you because everyone needs to like watch this guy. But it was like straight out of any like great horror movie that we'd have in a theater. It was such a great moment.
But this is also why I go back to, ain't no way they're going to tell me that A is a woman after this. And I'm sorry, because that person, unless A is a bodybuilder, and I'm not saying that women can't be strong, because hell yes, we can. But A smashes his face into like the bathroom tile multiple times, picks him up and chokes him, wraps him in the shower curtain to smother him, and then picks him up and carries the body outside.
Yeah.
Like a little baby, and throws him in the trunk.
Swaddled him and
like a little baby. It was, and then they show the close up of his face. I'm just like, I'm not even upset about it.
I appreciate the close up of his face though, because it lets us straight up know, nah, he's dead.
Yeah.
You know, these face close ups let us know that we can't sit here and be like, well, maybe he's just knocked out.
And I will say, I appreciate how this show is like subverting certain things, but like sticking true to certain things. Cause I kept thinking, I'm like, it's a Halloween episode. Somebody's got to die, right? And they kept having these really great camera cuts and musical cues and things that you're like, it's coming. Somebody's going to die. And when you're looking through A's POV and you're like, somebody's going to die. And Tyler was such a jerk. And I'm like,
goodbye.
Because that was a subversion. Usually the jock just gets away with being annoying as hell.
Yeah. No, it was beautiful. And I think maybe that moment is why this episode is my favorite. I'm a dark baby. And
let's not forget the end, though.
Huh?
The very end.
Oh yeah, I love that the girls feel like they didn't have an A night. They're like, oh look, if anything, they'd come out on Halloween. And I just thought that was so funny. And then we get the post party, or I'm calling the post party cliffhangers. So we already talked about Mouses when she gets home, and like that whole like weird thing with the box and the photos. Kelly is now the lead in Black Swan. Faran loses her spot, and then Kelly tells her mom that she got it, and she's like, good job, Karen. And like, so her mom's even, which I'm also like, that's the thing, moms, like her mom is grieving, and so like I'm not even
that moment where she's like, let's get your pills, and we're like, maybe it is Karen and she's keeping her drugged, so she doesn't say you're the wrong fucking daughter,
you're the wrong,
because moms know their kids,
moms know their kids, especially twins.
Still confused.
Yeah. And then Imogen got another call at the party that she couldn't hear, and they actually call back and are willing to talk about her mother and Angela, and they want to meet in person. And it's like, oh, who this gonna be? Also, is it A leading them out? I don't know.
No, we don't know.
Because we know nothing about A.
And then the very last moment, which I thought this was a very tender
Mm-hmm.
thing to end on.
Yeah.
And I do like that they are trying to stress some of the tender female friendship moments where, you know, finally Imogen goes into Tabitha's room and is like, hey, what you did was awesome, but like that didn't come out of nowhere. What is going on with you, girl?
Yeah.
And Tabitha's like, you know, something happened to me at that party in the woods. And then this is the big cliffhanger. Imogen looks at her and says, something happened to me too.
Me too. Hashtag me too.
Right. First of all, I mean, how many of us have been through those moments where it's happened to all of us, unfortunately. That's the world that we live in. But also, I feel like this goes back to my big question last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever, with the first 3 episodes we did, when I was like, is Imogen's pregnancy going to be a bigger plot point? And now I'm starting to think that it is.
Same. And so, but is it a horrible jock? Is it A? Is it, you know, like, this huge can of worms is open, and these 2 women were traumatized by this event because they were obviously drugged from the flashes we got from Tabitha, and something horrific happened. And I'm wondering if it's just going to be the 2 of them or if it's actually going to be all of them.
Yeah.
But we will see. I do kind of love that this version of A is a Dexter in a way, because you know, him taking out Tyler. What, like, he didn't have to. What did Tyler have to do with anything? You know, other than just being an asshole. And he took out the asshole.
He doesn't like his bad guys. What can we say?
I know. But yeah, I absolutely loved this episode. I cannot wait for the next one. Well, that's all I got, ladies. Until next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss out on our videos next week. And until then,
Bye.
Bye.